It's a brand new year, it's 2022, and I'm excited to share with you my goals for the year and how I'm planning on resetting in the new year. Hey everyone, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I wanted to share with you some ways that I plan to reset in the new year and to make the most out of my 2022 in hopes that it will help either motivate you or give you some ideas to create some goals for yourself in the new year as well. So I shared a video in 2021 at the beginning of the year on how you can set new goals and things that you can generally do in the new year to kind of make the most out of the year. So a video similar to this, so I will make sure to link that in the cards above if you're interested in that as well. Again, it's the new year. We can never have too many ideas or too many tips and tricks on how to set goals and that type of stuff. But today is a little bit different because it's a little bit more of what I want to do and digging in deeper to a couple of those topics that I touched on in the video last year. So you guys know, if you followed me before, that I love everything organizing, cleaning, productivity, and motivation. So I thought I would kind of break things down into organizing, cleaning, and productivity as far as my resolutions or goals for the next year. I don't really think of them as New Year's resolutions, but these are things that I have reflected over the last year, and especially with some of the changes in my life, and they're things that I really want to get a grip on in 2022. So if you're thinking about what types of goals you want to set, that's always my first place to start. Is what is something that I want to improve on? What are the pain points in my life? What didn't go as well as it could have in the past year? So for me personally, there's just a lot of life changes that have happened recently. So it's less of what didn't go well last year and more of there are some significant changes that happened at the end of 2021 that are going to really drastically change the way that things work in 2022 for myself and for my family. So we just had our first baby. That is a very significant change. And we moved from Denver, Colorado to Omaha, Nebraska. And with that move, we moved from an apartment to a house. So thinking about cleaning and organizing and productivity, having a baby and having a house, and previously having no children in an apartment, those things are very different. So I want to go through it step by step with you guys, and let's start with organizing. My goal in terms of organizing for 2022 is to really get through the entire house in the full span of the year. And that might seem like a long amount of time, or maybe even a short amount of time, depending on how you think of it. But I am going to kind of do both the decluttering and organizing process over this year. So I always like to do decluttering first and then organizing. Moving into a new space is a little bit different because I want to get things set up and organized in those spaces. And I did do a lot of decluttering when I moved, right before we moved. So there's less decluttering to do in the house and more organizing this year. But if you are at the stage where you could really use some decluttering in your house, and that's kind of more of what you want to focus on in this next year, I am going to be running the 6-month Sophisticated Declutter again at the beginning of the year. So starting right now, the next week, Monday, we are going to be starting doing a full 6-month declutter program. So you can follow me on Instagram and here on YouTube and follow that process along. I'm gonna have an ebook guide that I will link in the description box below as well that you can check out and kind of learn the whole process, and we'll walk through it step by step. I'm gonna still be decluttering with you and going room by room and sharing that process. And I take 6 full months to do that decluttering. And I really, truly believe that is the minimum amount of time it takes to go through your entire house and get that decluttering process done. So I am going to have that as part of my goal, to go through the entire house, every space in 6 months. And then you can use the second half of the year to do your second pass and really get everything nice and organized. So over the span of a year, 12 months, you will then have every space in your house decluttered and organized. So I would encourage you again to follow along with that if that is a goal of yours or something that you want to get done over the next year. I personally feel like I love going through room by room and almost mentally checking off that box in my head, and just, it feels like a weight off my shoulders when one room is done and I can say, whew, okay, the bedroom is now completely decluttered and completely organized, one room down. And then you can move to the next one and to the next one. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to follow along. The next thing I want to talk about is cleaning. I mentioned how I moved from an apartment to a house, and let me tell you, my cleaning routine has changed so drastically. A lot of you have asked questions when I first moved about what my plan was for a cleaning routine and a cleaning schedule. And I do plan to share a specific video on this, but I wanted to break it down for you a little bit because we're still in the process and I want to share the more complete solution with what I've come up with in a little bit once I feel really comfortable with my new cleaning routine. But I do want to share with you now what my plan is to get that cleaning routine perfect. And there are lots of different cleaning routines out there that you can look up and follow somebody else's. And if that is your goal, more power to you. That's awesome if it works for you. I just want to create a cleaning routine that is completely customized to me and my family and my household and my needs. So what my husband Jim and I have decided to do is the two of us have sat down and we are making a full running list of all of the things that we feel like need to be taken care of in our house. So we went and did some of the very, very basic things, from we need to wash our bedding, we need to wash our towels, we need to vacuum, we need to dust, we need to clean the windows, all of that type of stuff, and just like did a brain dump together. And after that, we decided what the frequency was and how often those things needed to be done. So some of those things, like our towels, I like to wash our towels at least once a week, same with our bedding. But other things are tasks that maybe need to be done every other week or once a month or quarterly. So we scheduled those things in and wrote the frequency in which all of those tasks needed to be done. So once we had our list of all of the things that needed to get done in the house and how often they needed to get done, we created a schedule from there. My main focus for this year is to really nail down that weekly and bi-weekly schedule. I do want to make sure I'm keeping on top of all of those monthly and quarterly tasks, especially with moving into a house. There are things that we just need to make sure get taken care of because there's a lot of space here. So it's easy to forget about something and then whoops, it's been a year, it's been 2 years, and you've never cleaned the top of your refrigerator or something like that. So I never want to get there, but my goal for this year is really, really to focus on nailing down that weekly and bi-weekly cleaning routine to stay on top of those daily tasks. Again, with a newborn, it's going to be enough to really, really focus on that. Still figuring out the full cleaning routine is important to me, but I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, and I want to set my goals realistically. So I am going to actually create that weekly schedule and then kind of highlight in different colors what needs to get done every other week. So alternating Mondays, maybe I'm washing our bathroom rugs or, you know, doing something else when it alternates on different weeks. And I am going to assign days of the week for specific tasks, not only because that helps me and Jim mentally figure out what needs to get done every day of the week, but it also helps us to know when our towels are going to be washed. When can we expect for our bedding to be fresh? So it helps when he leaves for work to know, okay, Wednesdays, Sophie, while she's home, because I'm able to work from home, washes all of the whites. He can make sure that he has thrown all of his white clothing into the laundry basket, and I don't have to worry about calling him and texting him saying, hey, I think I'm doing a load of whites today. Are there any other whites that you didn't put in the basket that I should go around and grab? Because we all know we've been there before. So it really, really streamlines things and gives us both an idea of what to expect and to know where to help each other out and to get things done in the house. And I will say, with that type of a cleaning routine, you have to be a little bit flexible. There's going to be days where my work is crazy, things with the baby were crazy, and I just couldn't get done all of the things that I needed to get done on that day of the week. I personally think that's fine. I like to think of it in a contained week schedule. So if I can't get my Thursday tasks done. It just didn't happen for some reason that day. I will make sure that it gets done on Friday or Saturday and kind of spread it out, but it needs to get done still that week, and giving myself that flexibility is, I think, fine. But however you want to create your schedule, you can make that flexibility whatever you want it to be. But that is really one of my goals, is to nail down that weekly schedule and to get us in a really solid cleaning routine and to make sure we are not forgetting certain areas of this house. Lastly, let's talk about my productivity goals for the next year. I kind of brainstormed here for a while with what I wanted my goals to be productivity-wise, and this is one area where I really did reflect what went well, what didn't go well in the past year. And I thought about things like morning and evening routines. Do I want to focus more on time blocking? Do I want to focus on my schedule, on my to-do list? There's lots of different things that you can focus on productivity-wise. And I really came down to the most important things to me are a very, very basic, and I seriously mean very, very basic, morning and evening routine and working in batches. I found that working in batches was something that was a positive from 2021, and I wish I would have done more of. So when I'm thinking about my goals for 2022, I wanted that to be a priority for me, because I know that those types of tasks that I could work in batches and get a bunch of things done at once and then reap the rewards for weeks and months to come were things that really helped me out. So whether it was cooking freezer meals or drafting a bunch of Instagram posts in advance and then just posting them as necessary, when your brain can focus on one thing at a time and you can really get into the zone, get a whole bunch done, I think that is a lot easier than mentally switching from task to task to task. It might mean switching from room to room to room and getting up and getting down, and that is just a mess to me. So the more that I can work in batches and get large chunks of work done and reap the rewards, like I said, for months and weeks to come, that's gonna be one of the things that I really focus on in 2022, in addition to those morning and evening routines. I found that the days where I got up, I made my bed, I got myself dressed and maybe did my hair, put on a little bit of makeup, that helps me. But those days where I started the day off right made a huge difference in the productivity through the rest of the day. So with working from home, I found myself getting kind of lazy with some of the things that I did in terms of getting myself ready for the day, but also my home. Sometimes I'd head downstairs and have breakfast. I'd find myself in my office and I'm still in my pajamas, and I maybe got caught up and started working, and then it's 11 o'clock and I'm still in my pajamas and I haven't gone upstairs and I haven't even made my bed, and it just feels like the morning is just kind of mushy and blending into the day, and there's no defined moment where I'm saying, okay, I am going to start this day and I'm gonna get stuff done and we're gonna keep moving forward. And it just doesn't feel good to me. I can't really describe it, but the days where I would get up and almost pretend like I was leaving the house even when I wasn't leaving the house, it made me that much more productive. I can't even describe the difference. So that's really going to be my key for a morning routine, is getting up, putting myself together, getting out of my pajamas, even if I'm just staying home, and getting myself together, having a healthy breakfast maybe, and that's it. I'm not trying to complicate the morning routine. I just wanna make sure that I am getting up, getting myself personally ready for the day, acting like I'm leaving the house, even if I'm not leaving the house, and making my bed. And then I wanna add in one productive thing that I can do every day to start the day off right. So I don't wanna define necessarily what that is, but I want to do one thing. So if it's one of the items on my cleaning task, if I'm supposed to clean the bathrooms that day, maybe I get up and go clean one of the bathrooms and can check something off right off the bat, or throw in a load of laundry and then head downstairs and head to my computer and get started working. So for me, it's going to be getting myself together, making that bed, and doing one productive thing for my morning routine. And then my evening routine is going to really focus on that clean kitchen at night idea. I've shared that before. It is such a game changer when it comes to how your house feels when you go to bed and therefore when you wake up in the morning. So I'm going to make sure I clean my kitchen before I go to bed every night. And I'm also gonna make sure I review my to-do list and schedule for the next day, so I never wake up in the morning surprised as to what the plan is for the next day. There are basically 3 things on my morning to-do list and 2 things on my evening to-do list. And that sounds really simple, but I don't want it to be more complicated than that, because I know if it's more complicated than that, I'm not gonna be able to do it every single day of the year. And I wanna try and do the things that I'm setting myself up to do. So having those 3 things and those 2 things are hopefully items that I can do every single night. Again, of course, I wanna be realistic with a newborn. I'm sure things are just not always gonna happen the way that I plan for them to happen, but setting smaller goals that are more attainable does set yourself up for success. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. You can think through your organizing, cleaning, and productivity goals as well, if they're gonna be similar to mine or maybe completely different. If you have set goals already and New Year's resolutions, I would love if you leave them in the comments below. I'm always looking for inspiration and motivation from you guys too. And I think it kind of holds us accountable when we share with others what our goals are. So feel free to drop those in the comments below, and I would love to be able to cheer you on. So if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Stay tuned for that sophisticated declutter if you want to declutter your house along with me. Hit that notification bell, that way you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Happy New Year, and until next time, I will see you guys later.